Stories of innovation and success from the vibrant communities of rural Nova Scotia. This is Ignited.
Hey there, welcome to Ignited the podcast. I'm Wade Cleveland. I work for a rural innovation hub called Ignite, and I'm here to tell you some great small town and rural success stories. For this episode, we're at the Ignite podcast studio in New Glasgow to chat with Sarah Shiffert and Dave Armstrong about their amazing story. Sarah and Dave are from Toronto originally. They headed to northern Nova Scotia with a plan to stay a month or so in the area. More than a decade later, they're still here, now with a family, running their own company featuring a line of spices that can be found in more than 100 stores across Canada and online. Big Cove Foods started at the local farmers market and has grown to the point that they needed a co-packer to package their products. Well, keeping with their community focus, they partnered up with a group called Summer Street to get that done. Summer Street is a Pictou County social enterprise that creates opportunities for those with intellectual disabilities. Whatever Dave, Sarah, and Big Cove Foods do, they do it with an infectious sense of fun. From the great YouTube videos they produce to the names of the products they sell. And that makes for a fun interview. Sarah, Dave, thanks for chatting with me.
Thanks for having us.
I'm really excited to talk to you because I want to hear the story, but I also want to talk about your videos because I love your videos. But I want to start with asking you, what process got you from Toronto to small town Nova Scotia? How did all that happen?
Yeah.
I'm sure that's not a short story, but I do want to hear at least some of it.
Okay, yeah, so my great-grandfather...
This is a long story.
Yeah. Used to live here, so that's where we're living. And so him and his brother started Vacheresse Meats, and... his son, my great-grandfather's brother's son, owns it now.
Okay.
So we decided one summer, it's like, hey, you know what? Why don't we go down to Nova Scotia, or I guess up to Nova Scotia, and I'll spend a month or two just learning about the whole art of butchery and all that. And we kind of kept on staying here. Sarah started growing a garden, and we held on to our apartment in Toronto for longer than we probably should have, and eventually it turned into what we're doing now.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we started selling our vegetables at the farmers market.
Right.
So we started as farmers. Even in our logo, Big Cove Foods, it's like the farmland. You know, we started growing vegetables and like making food, and then we started getting curious with making products, and it kept like snowballing. And Dave makes amazing spices, and he would cook for friends and family that came over. And we just jarred them, and we started hearing people using them and cooking in their own kitchens and get inspired to cook for themselves more, and that sort of started it all.
Okay, so how does it go from you're making spices, at home for friends or whatever to what you have now? That's quite a journey.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
We probably, our commercial kitchen's about 6 years old.
Mm-hmm.
So we started to try to see, okay, where else can we sell our spices? And the answer we were getting the question is, do you have a commercial kitchen?
Okay.
No, we don't. Okay. Are we going to do the commercial kitchen, or are we going to move on with our lives and do something else? So we did the commercial kitchen. So that was 6 years ago.
Okay. Was that hard? How does one do a commercial kitchen that it makes sense?
It is. We started small. We were lucky. We converted an old barn, and we turned it into a commercial kitchen. So we had that kind of structure there, which was nice.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of hoops. There's a lot of,
Yeah.
You have to know that you want to do this, I think, when you start a commercial kitchen. And, we kept it small.
Yeah, and
achievable.
The best way to do it, too, is to contact the health inspector first and, all of the regulations.
Yeah.
Let them know exactly what your plan is, because they will tell you, oh, no, you can't do that. Or it's like, oh, you have to have this, which is a lot better than being like, okay, we built it. Come on, see it. And they're like, oh, no, you can't. No, yeah, you gotta rip that out. You need this hand wash sink here. So
ask your questions first.
Yeah,
that's a good thing to know.
Yeah.
So in the creation of the business, how do you go from 0 to 60, so to speak? You've got the kitchen in place. What happens next?
Well, that was also a little bit of a slower journey, because we had a couple kids. In the meantime, since building the kitchen.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So we sort of just coasted. We had the market. We had some retail stores across Nova Scotia, just like smaller independent ones. And then a couple of years ago, we were chatting with the PC Run, which is now a Victor County partnership, right?
Right.
And we're like, what do we do next? You know, are we co-packers? Are we going to find someone to co-pack a product for us? And that's kind of where we met Summer Street.
Now, tell us a little bit about Summer Street for those who don't know. It's a social enterprise, right?
It's a social enterprise, yep. So they give work to adults with intellectual disabilities. So we started having their clientele come to our kitchen as like a work placement.
Yeah. So we started having we started with Wanda.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
So we had a couple people.
One or two. Our commercial kitchen is pretty small, so we couldn't fit that many people in with everything else.
But they do, so they started as just packaging our product, and then once we had more discussions with Summer Street, they wanted to take on being our co-packers, which was amazing. And we can kind of grow together, because they're our first co-packers, and we're their first client.
Right.
So it's been really nice that we can kind of, it's almost beneficial that we're both new to the game. We can, both be okay with the learning curve that it takes to grow. And now they don't just package our product, they also process it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they process, package, and we pick it up in a box. And it's just amazing. We get to go there, we get to talk with the people. They let us take videos so we can share them on our social media. So
yeah, and talking to the people who work for us, I mean, they really love doing the job, which is what you want to hear.
Yeah.
I mean, we do try to check in and be like, how's it going? Are you enjoying yourself? Like, what can we do to make it awesome for you too?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's good that we both parties find it rewarding.
Mm-hmm. As soon as we met with Summer Street, I knew that this is the kind of company we want to work with. This aligns to how we want to be as a company. How we want to grow within our community, and social sustainability and.
Yeah, well, we mentioned that actually before we came on here and started recording. I find with small rural companies, there's buy-in locally. There's a pride element to it that, look at these guys, look at what they're doing. And it's kind of great to see. And it's kind of something that you wouldn't get, I don't think, in a bigger city.
Oh, so true. The support of the community has been a huge advantage when starting our company. We came from Ontario, and we were just welcomed so warmly. And people just want to see you succeed. They want to help you. They want to partner with you. And it's just beautiful.
Yeah, we definitely through the whole big journey of Big Cove Foods, we found a lot of different spaces and communities that were very welcoming and helpful. So, for example, like the new Glasgow Farmers Market, it's a great spot to try it out. We literally used it as we've tried making so many different products. It's like, oh, this week Sarah's making cookies, whatever, and you get the direct feedback. Going through Ignite, there's a lot of a community there, different entrepreneurs on different levels and different fields, not necessarily food, and there's courses and all sorts of things. So it's my advice is to try to seek out these communities because they're out there, and don't be afraid to ask questions because, we don't know as much as we think we know, probably.
Well, you don't know what you don't know.
Yeah. But people do know out there, so.
Ask questions.
Yeah. Let's talk about the spices themselves, because I know you kind of developed them as you went. So it was kind of hit and miss and experimenting. Was it like a mad lab? How'd that go?
Yeah.
Sometimes it was, yeah.
I think we started out with the taco enhancer.
Yep, taco espresso nice. We had a few to start out that Dave was kind of using on a regular basis. And then over time, between travel and cooking, Dave would just be inspired by new flavors, right? So we'd go from a couple different variations to maybe 10 variations, and we'd have to taste them and tweak them. And the goal is to be unique, is to be different. It's not just salt and pepper based. It's unique ingredients like apple cider vinegar powder, amateur powder, which is like a ripe mango, and there's all of these different types of spices that are used all around the world, and tasting them and using them, and they can become an inspiration for something completely new and completely different. It's just like playing with different flavor combinations, and so some of them are
some of them come out and it's like I'll make 3 variations and it's like, oh yeah, it's number 2 is the one, no complaints, let's go with that. And then I think with there's one that we have called Porcini Barbecue Genie, which yeah, the name came first, I think. But, yeah, I had a whole bunch of ideas, but it just wasn't hitting the way we wanted it to hit. And I think I did like maybe 15 different variations, maybe more, of just like, oh no, it's like something's missing. And then I'd be like, oh, I think it's done. And Sarah would be like, no, something's still missing.
Well, it has to be fun, but it has to be frustrating when you're doing that too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, the thing with food is that as long as you don't, like, burn it beyond recognition, you still have something that's going to taste good. If the ingredients are good, you're going to have something that's at least enjoyable to eat in some way or another.
I love the humor that you use in your marketing, even the names that you use for your spices. You know, Mary had a lot of lamb and the porcini genie and all of that stuff. Does that just come naturally? Is that the way you are?
It comes naturally to David.
Okay.
And like maybe from a marketing standpoint, like it could hurt us a little bit, but you know what? We need to roll with who we are as people. You know, if that's all we have. That's our brand, and that's who we are. Well, that's who David is. I'm like, David, I'll say your name. He's like, no, it's got to be this. I'm like, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yeah, David's the namer.
All right. When it comes to putting stuff together in terms of, packaging and that kind of thing, do you do all of that on your own? And what I mean is in terms of what it looks like and what kind of a jar, for heaven's sakes, that kind of thing. How does that work? I mean, there's a lot to that.
There is a lot.
Sarah.
That's me.
There you go.
We are as the night nitpicking at a font. We've had a little bit of assistance just to kind of get to that professionalism, but we've been doing the majority of our spice designs. The sweet line that we have launched was designed from an amazing person in Toronto, who we just adore. So we had some help there. But that jar, our jar has definitely the evolution of the Big Cove Foods spice jar is extensive. But the jar that we have now, it was very hard to source. It took a very long time to find it. But I really wanted that lid.
Okay.
You know, that lid is like a cute little tin lid, and I had my heart set on it, so we had to find it. You know, you can't settle. You know, you have to go with what you want and what you envision. And so we found it, and it didn't come from Canada.
Really?
No. So we have to source them from the States. But it's worth it to us, you know?
To make things work.
Yeah. When we first started out, it was just like the plastic spice jar that you see because that's the easiest thing to get. And then as we grew and we're making more, it's so many different thoughts went into the packaging.
Well, we wanted to eliminate plastic.
Yeah.
So we switched to a glass jar. We do have plastic pouches. They're number 2 recyclable. We attempted with the biodegradable or compostable, both actually. We've done both, which just didn't work. It didn't work. It didn't hold up as it should have. It also doesn't work in the waste. Like the Pitcher County waste system, or a lot of different waste systems.
Yeah.
They're just not ready for it, right? So I feel like the packaging industry is way ahead of the waste management industry. So until that's settled, we're back to recycling.
Yeah, but I mean, making sure that it's recyclable is an important step, because looking into it, I find out that there's a lot of packaging out there that's not supposed to go in the recycling because it's not recyclable.
Okay, so you have these ingredients. You've put everything together. You have some packaging, at least at this point. We're talking back in the early days. At what point do you go to the stores? How do you do that? How do you go to a store and say, okay, I have this product and I want to sell it to you? How does that work?
Full disclosure, we are terrible at that, but we made it work for a very long time. You email. We had a lot of stores come to us, which is what started it. You know, we have these stores coming to us, we should go to a couple more and just snowball that.
Yeah, I think the first one that came to us was the Museum of Industry.
That's
because
right.
They have a gift shop, and they just showed up at the farmers market one day. It's like, hey, would you like? We'd like to sell your stuff in the gift shop. It's like, oh, okay. How do we go about doing that?
We really didn't go out to pursue this. You know, it's been a long journey of just okay. And then it came to, I really like this, and it came to, really love this, and then it came to, okay, we're pulling our hair out, but we still love this.
Yeah. We definitely took our time. Yeah.
We didn't know, right? We had to learn. We don't have history in business, in consumer packaged goods, and we're not chefs, although, we like to pretend we cook very well. But yes, we had to learn all of these new things, and it took some time, and that's just what's going to happen.
Really interesting. Now, you've got stores all over the place. I was looking on your website just at that part of it. And, you've got quite a few in Nova Scotia, but you even have one in the Yukon.
We
for
do.
instance.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah,
we're
across Canada. So once we signed up with Summer Street to increase our production, we also have a sales team now. And from that sales team, we got our first national distributor. So our products are now Canada-wide.
So tell me a little bit about that. It's the scaling up that I find really fascinating. You literally went from a farmer's market to having product in stores all over the country. That's quite a thing. And you kind of did it in a almost accidental way in the way you're wording it. So it's kind of fascinating. Tell me about that process of, okay, what do we do next?
I remember this was about 2 years ago, and it was it's like a heavy thing to have to think about because it's a lot of moving parts. It's a lot of investment, both like financial and your time, and your mental.
And
that has to be scary.
You've got to, it is, and you've got to line up as best you can all of the parts, right? Like you can't make all of this product without it going anywhere, and also you can't have all this product that's supposed to go somewhere but not have it, right? So it's almost like chess. You got to be like, okay, so I got to move here and then move here.
Yeah. So they had to kind of line up together. But yeah, it was scary. It was scary, and like we were mentioning earlier, we went to the PC Run. What are we doing? How do we get to that next step? And it is terrifying. So you either jump into the dark and see what happens, or you don't, right? You have to make that move. You never know what's going to happen if you don't.
Yeah. Well, we also spent a couple of years where our main goal was learning as much as we can.
Right. When COVID first hit, we did a lot of courses.
Yeah. So we went through the NSBI has a program. Is it the Growth Export program? Anyway, they have it's a year-long program, and they have marketing classes and horrible online course about international export
and financial, which is huge. It's so important to know your costs, because if you don't know every penny that you're spending on your product to get out there, you don't know what you're doing, which we learned also the hard way.
Yeah. And then and through that Ignite opened up in New Glasgow, and we were like, oh, well, that's very interesting. Let's they had an open course day. I think we met people from Ignite before when they first opened, and we're like, yeah, let's join that. Let's take those courses too. It's like, if there's a course being offered, we're like, let's learn as much as we can. And we still do take courses because because the knowledge is out there. And then we kind of became sponges, and then it's like, okay, now that we've got all this, let's take the next step and put feelers out there.
Kind of go from there.
Yeah.
All right. So how badly did COVID affect you? You were just saying that it was during COVID where you taken the opportunity to kind of get those courses in. Yeah. But you can't go to the farmer's market during COVID. So what happened to the business at that point? Was it about distribution? Was it about what happened at that point?
I think everybody for the first month, everyone's just stunned. So that's when we're courses, and figuring out what we're going to do next. But
we already had courses lined up. But when the first month, it was it went from, okay, so we're going to be doing this to half of our stores say that they're shut down. It's we have no idea what to do next.
But at the end of the day, people are cooking more at home.
Mm-hmm.
So we tried to leverage that, trying to provide them a little something new and different and something exciting when they're stuck at home. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, in a way, it was, we still had our challenges, especially in the supply chain. Our jars got discontinued. ingredients weren't coming in. And everyone, not just everyone now, is still seeing that how many years later?
Yeah, it's true.
So it's still going on. But other than that, I think that with our target audience, it was still, people were still purchasing and using the product during COVID.
Yeah, it also like forced us to think about how to reach people without being at the farmers market or the Saltscapes Expo and being like, hey, here, smell this jar, let's smell this jar. It's like, now you get it, right? So it's like we had to be more creative and work on our social media and develop that.
Okay, well let's go to the social media because I'm a big fan. Was it an actual decision to start doing stuff on YouTube? The videos that you do, they're very good. I have to tell you, and it's not just the series that you do, which is kind of awesome. Dave calls while you cook.
Yeah,
and it's really they're really funny and they're sweet and I enjoy them. They're something really fun. But that's not all you do. There's lots of videos on your YouTube channel. Was that a actual, okay, this is how we're going to market?
We tapped into YouTube, which was like a beast to us because, we're so late to the game.
Yeah, I think we like started out with like Sarah doing a lot of reels on Instagram. All right, that would be and then it's like, well, let's do YouTube and
like cooking tutorials and
but we kind of had to like.
I don't think that was the first one for YouTube. I think that we thought of Dave Calls and it's got to be YouTube.
Yeah,
and that's how we started YouTube.
It was Sarah's idea. She's like, you should do a show where you call people. Oh, and there should be like trivia. And I was like, I don't know. Okay, well let's try it. I can say that like from the beginning to now, it's difficult, but I'm a lot better at writing trivia. Yeah.
Well, like it's a really great way to connect with our consumers, see how they're using our product, and then share that with other people who are looking at our product. So, and it's amazing. And every time we get off the phone with someone, we just we can't stop smiling. We love it so much.
And people have like great ideas.
They do. Yeah. We have a lot of fun with it.
Well, to me, it adds something to your business because you are the face of the business, and there's this personality. Hey, spices are about personality, and that's what your company is. It's almost based on that personality. It's awesome.
Thank you. Well, I mean, we get a lot of how do you, like in all of our courses, how are you separate from your competitors? And it's, we're the brand, we're the face. We have to, we're a personal, family-owned business, and that's got to speak for something. So we sort of just honed in on that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and I mean, there's other spice companies, but
of course, yeah.
I feel that we try to be more fun. We both believe that cooking is fun, and it doesn't have to be difficult.
Mm-hmm.
We just want to spread that word, and with our spices, we do believe that we can help you make some awesome food with a little bit less effort.
That works. All right, so you have the different stores all over Canada. You also have the online business. How busy is the online business? Does that eat up a lot of time?
No, it did. It did at one point. I think that the more stores we get into, that's a little bit less on our end. This year has been a little bit of a weird online year, and we heard from a lot of other retail brands as well that have an e-commerce store. It's been a little bit of a less busy.
Yeah, I think that once things opened up more, people are like, I can go out, and it's like, I want to go out to the store and touch the product that I'm going to use, which I understand.
Yeah.
It's great that you can buy your product on our website, but we also have about 100 stores that we want you to go and support too.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think that when we're, we always say you can buy it here because it's convenient, but we really like to shout out to our retail stores because they welcomed us into their store and we're so honored and we're so grateful. So we really want to also hone in on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It even equals out to the support local. Support local by buying your product, but support local by buying your product in a local store.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
It all adds together. So what's next for you guys? I saw a posting where you were really excited. This was like back in March, where you had dreamed, or one of your goals was to be able to ship out a pallet, a whole pallet, and you ended up shipping out 3 pallets.
We did.
So that's real growth.
It's like the biggest high ever.
Yeah.
It was really cool. That was when we got our first order from our distributor. And so they have 3 DCs, so we shipped out a pallet each one. So we put out 3 pallets with the help of Summer Street. We could not have done it without them. Not in our little kitchen. It was amazing. And that was one of our goals for this year.
That is such a great thing.
Yeah.
So what's next?
We're heading to Toronto to do the CHFA show, Canadian Health Food Association trade show. So we're going to meet buyers from all across Canada. We're going to introduce some new display stands. So just like different marketing strategies to see what's working, what's not, basically. And
and then when we come back, we're also now they're starting to do like demoing in the stores. So we're gonna start
we're getting out there,
going out to Sobeys around Nova Scotia and sampling our food.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
You do that personally, or do you hire people?
We're going to do that personally.
Seriously?
Yes.
Are you coming to Yarmouth?
Sure. We're coming to Yarmouth.
Very cool.
No, you got to get out there, right? So,
Yep.
Yeah. And it also it is good to go out there to actually talk to people, because you get so much feedback, and that's like the thing about doing the like farmers market. When we started, it's like we got direct
consumer feedback.
Yeah, direct feedback. If Sarah made a cookie last week that someone didn't like, they'd let us know. Or if the spice was too spicy for them, they'd let us know. And it's like, oh, okay, so maybe we should have like a spice gauge, like a meter on it, so people aren't like grabbing it and then burning their mouths off.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. My next idea for a YouTube channel, I know it's already been taken, but you need to use your spices and interview people while doing hotter and hotter food.
We did something like that.
Yeah, we did
The ghost pepper challenge?
Yeah, we tried to do the ghost pepper challenge.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that kind of like fell off, didn't it?
Yeah.
That was fun. But yeah, you're right.
Guys, thank you so much. Here's to the future, and I look forward to watching you guys grow even more.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll have to have you on Dave Calls while you make food.
I'm in.
All right.
I'm absolutely in. For more on Big Cove Foods, visit their website, bigcovefoods.com. And check out their social media. They're on Facebook and Instagram, and their YouTube channel is most definitely on my subscribed list. It's found as Big Cove Foods, Inc. For more about the social enterprise Summer Street, visit their website, www.summerstreet.ca. And to find out more about rural innovation and what Ignite does, check out igniteatlantic.com. If you enjoyed this episode, we'd love it if you subscribed, shared us with a friend, and gave us a good review. We'd love to hear from you. Our website is igniteatlantic.com. My email is wade@igniteatlantic.com. Thanks for listening. We'll talk again soon.